Hey guys, how you doing? TheXploder here, and I hope you're doing great. I haven't done a vlog in a while, so I was planning to do a really nice jaunty vlog before I went off for a week. But that's not the case, because something's come to my attention that, quite frankly, I want to talk about. So what's happening? Well, if you haven't been reading up on the news involving Marvel vs. Capcom and Infinite, and I've been looking forward to this game, because I'm a big fan of the Marvel vs. Capcom series. I've loved it throughout. I think one of my favourite games when it comes to like this line wasn't even a Marvel vs. Capcom game, it was Marvel Superheroes. But Marvel Superheroes eventually got me into Marvel vs. Capcom, MvC2, MvC3, so on. So when they announced Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and it was going to have Mega Man X in there, it was going to have some new Marvel characters in there, I was so hyped. Now I'm very worried. And I'm already very worried about the game because its art style is a bit... its story seems a bit... the voice acting seems a bit... and then the roster seems very... if I had to put it all into sound effects that everyone could potentially understand. But this is probably the nail on the coffin for me for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and this is a really big deal. And let's get involved with it. So this is involving an interview with Gamespot, and in this Gamespot interview they were talking about, okay, what's your response to all of our fans basically saying, oh, I'm not too convinced about the roster yet, you don't have any X-Men dudes, Magneto's not in, Colossus isn't in, Sentinel's not in, like what's happening? Like, and basically asking the questions to the developers saying, what is your response to this? And allow me to read this line for you, because I think this is one of the most not the best lines you should ever say about your game. Let's go. This is from Peter Rosas, and it says, if you were to actually think about it, these characters are just functions. They're just doing things. Magneto, case in point, is a favourite because he has 8-way dash and he's really fast, right? So our more technical players, all they want to do is triangle jump and that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Nova could do the same thing. Captain Marvel could do the same thing. Ultron could do the same thing. Go ahead and try them out. But this is a problem. This is a massive problem, because this is now, this single sentence, like this single paragraph in itself is basically saying, we're not treating characters in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite as characters. Because in my opinion, a good roster in a fighting game are the characters. Like Tekken 7's roster is pretty damn good. I am kind of upset that Marduk isn't in it as one, but he could potentially come back as DLC, all that fun stuff, we've yet to find out. The Street Fighter roster is always fun to play with guys like Akuma. I'm happy with Urian's back in Street Fighter 5, and it's characters like that that make me want to buy a fighting game. Because they're fun. They're fun characters with interesting backgrounds, interesting reasons to fight, interesting movesets, and it's all based around the character themselves, not their functionality. And now they're being treated as functions. That is so wrong. That is just so terrible, to class Magneto as a fan favourite because of his functions. No, Magneto is a fan favourite because he is an amazing character. If you have read any of the X-Men comics, watched the classic X-Men cartoon, or seen anything X-Men, even the X-Men movies that came out, Magneto is a freaking boss. Being able to control anything via magnetism. Hell, even in X-Men Apocalypse, the movie where some people were very I love that movie because it shows them what Magneto is capable of doing. He can manipulate the magnetic force of the planet. That's what makes Magneto awesome. That is why we want Magneto in Marvel vs. Capcom. That is why we want characters like the Sentinels in Marvel vs. Capcom, like Colossus, Rogue, Wolverine, the list keeps going on, and that's just X-Men characters. And this is terrible, to judge them via their functionality. Then there is another part of this interview. There's another part of this interview where they talk about the roster itself and the strength of the roster, and basically explaining, okay, so you haven't got the X-Men guys in, but you've got guys like Rocket Raccoon that are coming back from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you've got Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm looking forward to. I'm happy to see Gamora in there. And some other characters were also spliced in there where some people were like, really? Really? And for me, I'm very much the same. It's not just the Marvel roster, don't get me wrong. The Capcom roster is just as iffy at this moment in time. But what they're basically doing is they're trying to tailor the Marvel side of the roster to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. Which does make sense, because the MCU is a big money taker, you're getting a lot more people invested into the Marvel products. We are leading towards Infinity War, which is going to be the big crossover everyone's looking forward to, because my boy Thanos is in it, which I'm so hyped Thanos is in the game. But there are worries. The X-Men, yes, that is one huge reason why the roster does seem to be a bit weak, because it is lacking X-Men characters. But it's also lacking other real famous Marvel characters. Like, we've got Hulk, we've got Thor, we've got Captain America, we've basically got the Avengers lineup, which is pretty damn good. Where's Black Widow? Like, if you're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I understand why you bring in Black Panther, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, but where's Black Widow? Surely you would want to make the classic Avengers lineup from the MCU, or is that just me? And then you're willing to bring in guys like Thanos, which is only just really being brought in a lot more in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then you're not giving us, like, crazy new Marvel characters. Like, where's Spider-Man? I haven't even seen Spider-Man yet. Where be Spider-Man? Spider-Man's my boy. Well, we have Iron Man, which is obviously a staple. Iron Man has been in all the Marvel vs. Capcom games because he's just awesome. A great character. Where's War Machine? Bring back War Machine for Marvel vs. Capcom 2! Where the heck is that, guys? Or hell, do you dare bring in some crazy new characters we haven't even seen before that are from the Marvel comics that look and feel amazing? Now, there's one character in particular I would love to see, which is a perfect Hulk villain. Where's Abomination? A-Bomb. I love me some A-Bomb. Abomination is really friggin' awesome. I'd love to see some A-Bomb. Or hell, some of the newer, younger characters that are just being brought up in the comic books. There's a lot of characters to play with on the Marvel side. And even then, if you're worried about bringing any new characters in, you've got Nova for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and we only know him for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. If you're a fighting game guy, if you're a comic book guy, you'll know who Nova is, and the Nova Corps, and why Nova is so freaking awesome. But why don't we have guys like Silver Surfer? Why don't we have guys like the Fantastic Four, Iceman, Thing? Like, bring in any of those guys. Really, come on. And that's just Marvel. As I said earlier, the Capcom side has its own worries in its own right. It's fantastic that we finally get Mega Man back, and it's X of all people. And X deserves to be in this, and it's great the Zero's back, because now we can have Mega Man and X versus whoever the hell you want. Arthur? Arthur coming back? Spencer coming back? Really? I just think those are two very throwaway Capcom characters. Don't get me wrong, I love Bionic Commando, I really do. I am also a big fan of where Arthur comes from in his games from way back in the day. Fantastic titles, I would go back and play them religiously. But unless we're getting a new Bionic Commando, or Arthur's coming back in his own little Ghosts and Goblins thing, why are they still here? As far as I know, because I played Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and dabbled in it here and there, but from what I learned from reading up on what the community likes, looking at tournaments and all that jazz, not a lot of people liked Arthur and Spencer. Not a lot of people enjoyed Arthur and Spencer, or really put or went out of their way to have Arthur and Spencer on their teams. Even then, Chris Redfield? I love Chris, don't get me wrong. Chris Redfield, Resident Evil 4, I love it. Those big friggin' biceps of him that can, like, crush the planet. Fair enough. But here's three characters you could have put in there. Where's Leon from Resident Evil? Leon would have made so much sense. Or hell, bring back Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. Hello? Jill Valentine was amazing in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I think we would all love to see classic Jill come back. Not Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Jill. As much as I enjoyed her coming back, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Jill will always be superior. That's in my personal opinion. Another character you can bring in. Bring in some characters from Capcom games we haven't seen in ages. Omnimusha? Yo, an Omnimusha character would work super well. Or heck, one of my favourite characters from a game not a lot of people have played, but I maybe hope to bring to the channel in the future, whether it's live stream or something else. Beat down Fists of Vengeance with the lead character Raven. Bring in Raven from Beat Down Fists of Vengeance. It would make complete sense. If he tries to do a swear word, you can add in a little bit of comedy with like Rocket Raccoon coming up to just break the silence. If it's him having a little bit of a rough and tumble with Dante, all of a sudden you've got people trying to split them up because they're about to bash living daylights out of another. You can have a really awesome confrontation with if Raven goes toe to toe with Thanos in a fist fight. Yo, that would be really badass. But you're not doing it. It's like as if Capcom is scared. They're scared to push the boundaries as to what they can do with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite because they want to make the majority of people happy. And the easiest way to make the majority of people happy is to bring back the iconic characters, bring in the characters that are going to get revamps or are going to be showing up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which makes complete sense, don't get me wrong. But by doing that, you alienate the characters that we fall in love with. No, and it has nothing to do with functionality. It has nothing to do with characters as functions. I don't give a damn about functions. I give a damn about whether the game is fun. And one aspect of making these games fun are the characters themselves. Why? Because they're bloody great characters. Simple as. And you have a story mode in this game where we're supposed to get invested into these characters. So how am I supposed to get invested into these characters when you have claimed them as functions? In this interview, yes, I am taking this a little bit deeper than it currently goes, but this is the problem. This may have been a PR mistake, which I'm very sure it must be, and I can understand that. But you just don't class characters of any kind as functions. What if I was to come out, right, and give you an example and say Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars is a function. He comes in, tries to guide Luke on the path of becoming a Jedi, and when his function is complete, axed off by Darth Vader, that's it, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's a function. His only function in the films is to get Luke on his path to become a Jedi Knight. And you know that's wrong. Anyone that is a Star Wars fan instantly knows that's wrong, because we have Obi-Wan's backstory, we have his connections to Darth Vader, his connections to Princess Leia, his connections to the family from episodes 4 and onward, his connections, hell, to episode 7! Obi-Wan Kenobi is the character that's been a serious part of Star Wars from episode 1 all the way through up to episode 7 and possibly beyond. Even in the animated universe and all of that jazz, and even in the comic books, Obi-Wan's important. And if you were to class Obi-Wan Kenobi as a function, everyone would look at you and think, no, he's not a function, he's a great character, what the hell are you talking about? And this is my problem. I love characters. I love stories. I love the characters that make the stories worth reading. By classing them as functions, that is a huge blow to your game. And these are my honest opinions, and I'm going to stop here because I am waffling on. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any thoughts yourself about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and them calling certain characters fan favourites because of their functionality, then let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm generally interested with your thoughts on that one. Are you even interested in Capcom vs. Infinite in general? Again, comments below, or hit me up on Facebook and Twitter, all that fun stuff. It's down in the description. Join me on Discord as well. We can even have a big chat about this and maybe even bring it up on a live stream in the future. I don't know. But quite frankly, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are watching this, be in mind that next week, so that is as of, let me just remind myself because I'm terrible. As of the 2nd of June, I am gone for the week, and I will not be back until the 9th of July. The 2nd of July till the 9th of July, shall I say. Because I'm having a nice breather with my gran, and quite frankly, I'm going to a mate's wedding, and it's going to be really awesome. And if any of you are interested in that, I might just do a vlog about it. I might just do other vlogs as well, because I need to get back in the zone with video stuff. Hope you're enjoying the live streaming in the meantime. Have a very good day. Stay explosive, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.